Agahon, coming to you live from Numancia, Aklan, in Western Visayas in the Philippines. I'm having my morning cup of coffee, my coffee with Gino cup here, my Copico Blanca. Copico Blanca is my choice of a 3-in-1 coffee here in the Philippines. It's coffee, cream, and sugar, powder form. You put it in your cup with hot water, and you have a nice cup of coffee. Let me just make sure I'm online here. Doesn't look like it. Hold on, let me see here. Oh, it looks like, there it is, Looks like, all right, looks like I'm online, Good morning, Charlie Latz, my good friend in Boston. Kevin Shores, what's up, Gino? Hey, Kevin Shores, just getting my day started. I took Leanna to school already on Bumblebee. We're riding more of Bumblebee right now because it's a tricycle, saves us on gas. So any trip to Numancia and maybe even Calibo now, we'll just keep using our tricycle because it saves a lot more on gas. Hey, Ray. All right, Ray. Hey, Ray in the Philippines. Good morning. Charlie Les, have you been watching the World Facebook Classic? I have been, here we don't really get to watch it like live. All I can do really is like watch the highlights. I know the US is doing well. I know Japan is doing well. But once they get into like the quarterfinals, semifinals, I'll try to catch it. Hopefully I can find somewhere on YouTube or something that would show the games. I usually don't start my, I have a subscription, Spot TV is where I subscribe so I can watch baseball, because baseball is a sport that I like to watch. And I haven't restarted my monthly membership. Usually I'll do that once the regular season of Major League Baseball starts, then I'll start my subscription. I cancel my subscription right after the World Series, then I'll start it again when the season starts. Pinoy, Washington, good afternoon from Seattle, Washington. You're live, bro, Gino. Yes, I am live. All right. Michael C, good morning, bro. I saw gas station are filling up there in Aklan. Wow. Yeah, actually, there's some things going on kind of shady, actually. The day before they raised the prices, there were actually gas stations that closed. And I was thinking, why would they close? It's the rates, the gas prices aren't high yet. Then the more I think of it, it kind of makes sense. What they did is some of the gas stations, they closed before the hike. And then when they hiked the prices, they opened up. So they got, 10 pesos or more per gallon on their gas, per liter on their gasoline. So, but they're really lining up. Most of the gas stations that I go to now, I usually see not as bad as the initial, that thing that I shared on Facebook. That was 8:30 p.m. at night. They were going to raise the prices at midnight. So these are the people that were like last minute trying to get their full tank of gas before like it increased over 10 pesos per liter. That is pretty significant. And I'm sure they'll keep raising it because what's your choice? What's your choice? Riding a bicycle? I got a bicycle. That would be my next choice if I don't want to get gas for our vehicles. Derek, aloha, my brother. Kevin Shores just turned 35 years old on Monday. Oh, congrats. All right. Happy birthday. Belated happy birthday, Kevin Shores. 35. Dang. Man, that's been a while for me, man. I'm gonna turn 60 this year, man. 35, man. I was still in the military, active duty at 35 years old. I retired at 37 from the military. Good morning, Michael C. from Ray in the Philippines. Pinoy in Washington. Gas is going up in Seattle, Washington. It's 5.89 unleaded here, regular. Yeah, it's going up here for sure. And what's crazy here in Aklan province, from gas station to gas station, it's like different prices. So if you're with me, I try to stick with Shell. Shell is like what I put on the car. So I don't like mixing different types of gasoline in my car. So when I bought the car, I've always got in my gasoline at Shell. And unfortunately, Shell is kind of like one of the higher price now. Shell and Petron seems to be the higher price, but I'm sticking to it. You know, it's like I don't know. I just don't feel comfortable about mixing different gasoline. Some of the gasoline they sell here, the generic ones without the name brand, I don't know if they're mixing water in there or something. I don't know how they get their prices so cheap, but I'm sticking with Shell. I'm sticking with Shell. Good morning, Ray from Michael C. You're heading out, Mom? Not yet, not yet. I thought Mom's got an errand to run today, so that's why she's up early. She's getting ready to go to Katiklan. Pen said hi. Hello, Pen. Michael Manalastas. Hey, my brother in Northern California. Looking good. Hey, thank you, brother. Thank you for the compliment. I'll take that, man. I'll take the compliment, man. Good morning, everyone. Fortune, my brother in Bacoor in Cavite. Good AM, fam, and the Panay Posse. All right. Let me get to the weather. I always try to do the weather report. Here in Numancia this morning, kind of chilly. For me anyway, it's cool weather, 72 degrees Fahrenheit. Breezy too. So I had my sweatshirt actually. I was wearing my sweatshirt on the motorbike with my hoodie when I took Leanna on the motorbike. I was like, I'm glad I had the sweatshirt because a little bit chilly for me this morning. Which is nice because, usually this time of year it's already so hot. But today, it says today, sun and clouds with a couple of showers. So it might actually rain. I'm looking outside. There are clouds. Earlier, the sun was up for sunrise, but now there are some clouds. So perfect weather from AccuWeather here. Sun with clouds and couple of showers. On the Pag-asa, the Philippine government weather channel, it says here, Dinagat Island, Surigao del Sur, Davao Oriental, there's a trough from a tropical storm. There is no tropical storm in the Philippines. It's outside the Philippine area of responsibility, but I guess the trough, whatever that means, whatever trough means, trough of a thunder tropical storm, it's causing cloudy skies with scattered rains and thunderstorms. Possible flash floods, landslide due to moderate or at times heavy rains in the Dinagat Islands, that Mindanao, northeast Mindanao area. And then the rest of the country, northeast monsoon, that's the Amihan season, Batanes, Cagayan, Metro Manila, rest of Luzon, the rest of Mindanao. Localized thunderstorm for the rest. The dollar, I always try to report the dollar. People always ask me how much the US dollar to the Philippine peso. Currently, it is 58.89. It actually, last Monday, it hit the all-time high, 59.50. That is now the all-time high for the dollar exchange to the Philippine peso. So it did hit that number Monday. I saw a posting of it on Facebook, but now it's back down to like 58.89, hovering in the 59. 59 is still a high exchange rate here in the Philippines. Again, 59.50 is the all-time high. So still a high return for your dollar for the Philippine peso. All All right, let me go back here. All right, oh man, there's a lot of comments. Looking faster. All right. Good AM to Charlie, to Ray, Michael C, Derek, and Kevin from Fortune. Rose said hi. Thank you, Rose. Thank you, Rose. Kevin Shores. Oh, Kevin Shores. Moved up there. All right. Do you ever eat at Jerry's restaurant at SM Malls? I cannot remember the last time I've eaten at Jerry's Grill at the mall because I'm trying to think if they even have Jerry. I don't think they have Jerry's Grill at the mall here in Rojas City, SM, or SM, maybe SM Iloilo. I think about it now. I have eaten at Jerry's Grill at SM City, Iloilo. Pretty good food. I like Dazzle and I. We always ordered. They have these baby squid, kind of tiny squid, really tender squid. We like that. Their sisig is pretty good at Jerry's Grill. Their halo is pretty good at Jerry's Grill. But usually when we eat at Jerry's Grill, it's in Boracay Island. They have two. Jerry's Grill in Boracay Island on White Beach. Both restaurants facing the ocean, facing on White Beach. One is on Station 2, one is on Station 1. But here in Calibo, we don't have Jerry's Grill here. Fortune, good AM, Michael M. There's a typhoon outside the par. Yes, outside the par. That's why it's not considered. Right now, we've only had two. Basyang was the last one. So right now, they're not considering this number 3 typhoon for the year because it's outside of the par. Philippine area of responsibility. It's a trough. I guess the outer bands of the typhoon. But it's sunny, man. Look at this, man. Look at this now. It's like sunny here. Like, look how bright that is. The sun is like coming up here, man. So it was cooler earlier, some clouds earlier, but now the sun is like bright and sunny. I'm sure some of these clouds, they will all burn off here. Lowell, kumusta? Mabuti ako, kapatid. Lowell from Oregon. God bless, my brother. God bless. Phantom, is this loop or not? I don't know what you mean, what loop, but this is live. I'm live. I'm not looping. How can I prove I'm live? Back in the day, they put newspaper, hey, I'm alive. But I don't know how I can prove to you that I am alive. Maybe ask me a question and I'll answer it. Rose, shout. All right, shout out to Rose. Said hi. Not a loop. I don't know. I don't get it, Phantom. I don't understand. Not a loop. Fortune, got ourselves plane tickets to Bohol. All right, 6 passengers. All right, June 2 to 15, Independence Weekend. Was afraid prices going up, so decide. Oh, smart move, man. Smart move, Fortune. On the 29th, we'll finalize accommodation. All right. Morning, man, you're gonna have a great time. I love Bohol, man. I'll go to Bohol any day, man. Like Panglao Bohol is like my number 2. My number 2 in the field. Boracay is always my number 1, but Panglao Bohol is my number 2. Love that place. Good AM, Lowell. Rose, good morning, Rose. Fortune, Jerry's, I like. It started mid-90s. First outlet was across ABS-CBN. Yeah, I used to. Oh, one dish that I really like there that they make it a little different. There's a dish, Filipino dish, Fortune. Here, I like the one they make at Jerry's Grill. Dinakdakan. Man, their dinakdakan to me is like, dinakdakan is like pork, like I guess it's fried pork, but it's got onions, red onions, just a mixture of stuff. And it's almost kind of like a sisig, a little different. But the dinakdakan at Jerry's Grill is my favorite. Yeah. And their crispy pata. Man, their crispy pata is the bomb. Kevin Shores, you are so correct, man. If you like crispy pata, they got some of the best crispy pata at Jerry's Grill. Cheesy, hello from Lebanon. Wow, wow. Stay safe in Lebanon. I know there's stuff going on in Lebanon. So stay safe there. Pablo, hello, Pablo. Okay, send me your WhatsApp number. All right. I don't know why would you need my WhatsApp number? So we can know more, maybe know each other more. 100. If you want my WhatsApp number, go to any of our videos. It should be in any of our video description on the video. I put my contact information there. I think my WhatsApp number is there. If not, I'll start putting my WhatsApp number there. 140 outlets worldwide, including US, Singapore, and Qatar. Man, that's awesome. That's awesome. Jerry's Grill, man. All right. So got that taken care. Got this. I always try to hit some news items, of course, and then I'll hit a topic. I always try to have a topic. Here in Aklan province, the main news that I've seen, Aklan provincial government, or government of Aklan, they now implemented a flexible work arrangement. So if you work for the Aklan provincial government, lots of employees. By the capital area, lots of employees. I was an intern, Dazzle and I, when we were in college. We were an intern for the governor. We worked for the governor of Aklan, both Dazzle and I. One semester, we were intern at the capital area. But what's going to happen now for government employees here in Aklan? 4-day work week. Basically, they're going to work Monday to Thursday, 8 to 5 p.m., and then Friday is work from home. They're doing that because of the crisis, the gasoline, energy, fuel. They're trying to save. And I think a lot more like civilian companies are even following that arrangement. But if you work for the government of Aklan, you're going to be put on the 4-day, and I think the Bongbong Marcos, the President Marcos, also implemented that for the executive government, executive branch of the government. So that's happening. That's happening here. All right. Let me just make sure. Dinakdakan is Ilocano style sisig, bigger meat. Oh, okay. Thank you for that, Fortune, because I've never, I love it. I love dinakdakan, but I did not know that it was a Ilocano style sisig. No wonder I like it, man. It's like similar to sisig, man. But the one at Jerry's Grill, man, that's like, I've eaten dinakdakan elsewhere, but they don't make it like Jerry's Grill. They make the best, I think. Howdy, hey, Posse Bros, Posse Bros. There's Daniel in Tokyo. Daniel, I know Daniel's still in Tokyo. He's got a few more days left in Tokyo. Then he's flying from Tokyo to Cebu. So in a couple of days here, Daniel's finally make his landing here in the Philippines in Cebu City. Good day. How's Japan? Have you heard of viral Filipino Ilocos empanadas and tacos at USA? I haven't heard. I haven't. I try. I don't really see a lot of like USA stuff, but the Ilocano empanada, man, that is like number one, man. When Dazzle and I went to Vegan, we drove our car all the way to Vegan, from Batangas to Vegan. Man, the empanadas there are on point. I have a video of it and everything where that lady's like putting it in the hot oil. It comes out. It's got like shredded veggies in there. You put like that spicy vinegar on it. Man, I just loved it. Man, the empanada is the best empanada I've ever had in my entire life. It's the vegan, the Ilocano empanada. I also had it up north when we went to Pagudpud. They had some empanadas there. Just amazing, man. I wish they had that here in Aklan, man. I wish somebody would make that empanada over here. 3 days in a week. All right, 3 days in a wake up, and your Filipino life starts, Daniel. Okay, I'm excited for you, brother. It's gonna be a good life for you here, Daniel. I'm gonna try to do my best to assist you, help you in any way I can. Fortune, sisig and sizzling squid made Jerry's famous initially, then others like crispy pata followed. Yeah, man. I like their squid, Fortune, but I don't like the big one. I don't like the gigantic squid that they stuff it. I like the baby ones. Man, the baby squid, they melt in your mouth, man. It's like almost eating butter, man. They're so tender. But the big one, not a fan because sometimes they get chewy, man. Sometimes you go like, damn, kind of like rubbery. It depends on who cooks it. Depends on who cooks it. Captain Ron, Daniel, is Gino meeting you at the airport? Oh, I can't meet him at the airport, man. When he comes to Aklan, I will meet him at the airport. But I can't meet him at the airport in Cebu, man. I got a flight to Cebu, man. But when it's time for him to come to Aklan, I will definitely pick up Daniel, like the rest of the Panay Posse. I always pick up people here. Captain Ron, if you come to Kalibo, Katiklan, Aklan, hey, I will also pick you up at the airport. Not a problem. But Daniel is landing in Cebu City because he's going to take care of his SRRV before he comes here to Panay Island because he wants that done. He wants that done. And I don't think you can get that done here in Aklan. I'm not sure. For SSRV, you can either get it done in Manila or Cebu City. The big cities is where you can process that paperwork. I don't think we have a Philippine Retirement Authority office here in Aklan province. We're small time compared to like Cebu City and Manila. Those are like the big cities. We're more rural here in Aklan province. Hello Ford, Japan is beyond words. No, I will return many, many times. That is so awesome to hear, Daniel. Awesome to hear. Jison, Catholic Davao, 7. I don't know what that means, man. Fortune, if here is your base, Japan. Oh yeah, Japan's easy, man. And more, even Filipinos, man. I know Filipino friends here in my neighborhood. Even they are making the trip to Japan and vacationing in Japan because the yen has been at its lowest point in many years. It's become affordable. I did read an article, the Japanese, they're getting overwhelmed with tourists now because Japan's more affordable now, so they might have to do something about that because Japan is one of those countries where they're really private people, really respectful, clean, everything about discipline, organized, but all these tourists coming in there, it's like I'm sure it's disrupting. I'm sure it's disrupting the calmness in Japan. Good morning, Brother Gino from Jokano. Hey, good morning. I also don't like the big stuffed squid. Yeah, right. I prefer the little baby ones, man. I like the small sizzling. Oh yeah, man. They're like, man, the small baby squid here in the Philippines is almost like eating butter, man. It melts in your mouth. It's so, but the big squid, those kind of tend to be chewy, kind of rubbery a lot of times. Lucita, my good friend in Maine. Hello, Lucita. Good morning, mister. Good morning, Lucita. Korea. Oh, yeah, I love Korea, man. I would say number one is Japan for me here. If the place to visit for me in Southeast Asia. Number two, I would probably say number two, number three, toss up between Singapore and Korea. But Japan's number one for me because I just love it there. I lived there for 4 years. I experienced the culture. I love sushi. I love everything. I love everything about Japan. Onsen. Onsen is my favorite thing in Japan, where you just sit in a hot bath, man. It's like awesome. Oh, it's awesome in Japan. I like the dried shredded squid I would snack on in Korea. Okay, they have those here too. A lot of Korean products now, Joke, I know, it's here in the Philippines because the Filipinos are infatuated with anything Korean. You cannot go a place here in the Philippines now where there's not a Korean restaurant, Korean grocery, that K-pop thing. Even Liana, she's got K-pop posters on her wall. They're just like everything Korean, Korean drama on TV. Filipinos are just addicted to anything Korean, man. Good morning, Dangerous. Good morning, Brother Gene. Hey, good morning, brother. Good morning, brother. Hi, back, Joe Canoe. All right, all right. Okay, I'm gonna hit a topic. I'm gonna hit a topic today, and I thought about this topic because I got a message in my messenger yesterday, and I wasn't, it's like I always get messages from people asking me different questions, and I like them. It gives me ideas on how to make videos. And I know I've talked about this many times on my channel, how the one thing that you need to bring to the Philippines, man, you got to bring a lot of patience here in the Philippines. I think I've mentioned before how when you go to the banks, when you go to the land transportation office, when you go to a medical appointment, when you go to grocery, when you go to the ATM, I can't count how many times I've talked about how much you're gonna need a lot of patience here. And for us that are retirees, to me, it's never been an issue just because I'm retired, I have the time. I'm not wound up anymore. Like a lot of times when a foreigner gets here to the Philippines, they want everything done right now. It's like they get off the plane, man, I got to get my motorbike, I got to get my driver's license, my visa, but they're just like, so hyped up to get everything done. It takes a while. It really takes a while before you start grooving into that island time, Filipino time. It's like, so I got this email. I'll read it to you. I'm not going to name the person, he's a friend of mine on Facebook actually. So it's all good. He said here on his message to me, he goes, Gino, your YouTubes always talk about you need to be patient, but don't nail down the true difference between the US and Philippines culture that require the patience. I just lived a perfect reality of that difference. He goes, I should be in Subic right now, but am instead back at my house in Kansas with an extreme high likelihood that I won't be there for another couple of years due to Filipinos' inability to handle any kind of deviation to what is planned, and no being an acceptable answer. That's the difference that he's talking about. And in a very long message that I got from him, and he starts talking, long story, but basically what happened, he said he had a flight delay from Delta, and that would have caused him to miss his consolidated connecting flight through Philippine Airlines, his PAL flight to Manila. And it ended up in him and his son never getting issued a ticket because PAL refused to bump him up to the next flight. So I kind of understand kind of like what happened to him because here in the Philippines, I don't know how it is in the US, I don't know how Philippine Airlines handle it in the US. But here in the Philippines, if you're flying domestic here in the Philippines, Fortune can tell you this. If you're flying Philippine Airlines here in the Philippines, if you're flying here Cebu Pacific, what's going to happen here is like when you're booking your flight, you have an option in your flight where it says flexible usually. And that ticket is usually more expensive than the non-refundable. I don't know how it is in the US, if that's the same. That's why, I don't know the complete situation, with the Philippine Airlines. But I have a feeling if that's how Philippine Airlines operates here in the Philippines, I'm pretty sure that's how they would operate even in the United States. I know I've flown many times in the US. I was in the military. We do use commercial in the US. I know they're a lot more flexible in the US, like especially in the military. If I'm on orders or something, and something happened to where I would change my flight, they're really flexible, right? They'll, some airlines, they will do go above and beyond for you to accommodate you. But if you're in a situation where you bought a ticket, like let's say from Los Angeles to Manila, non-refundable on Philippine Airlines, and they already issue you a ticket for that, man, there's really nothing you could do as far as changing that flight. Or if you can't make your flight, if you got delayed or whatever, they're not gonna bump you to the next flight, because to me it doesn't make sense. Maybe for the gentleman it makes sense to him, but to me it doesn't, because what will happen is they're gonna lose money. Philippine Airlines is gonna lose money on that seat. They're not gonna be able to fill that. If it's only a few hours from the plane leaving, what are the chances of them booking that seat? I know in the U.S. maybe they're more flexible, they're more accommodating to customers. The Philippines just doesn't work like that, and you have to understand that, with how things work here in the Philippines. Like I said, if I bought a ticket here in the Philippines, Philippine Airlines or Cebu Pacific, and I select the non-refundable ticket, I can't change the ticket. The reason for that is usually it's a lower price ticket. If I don't show up, or I cannot even call them and tell me I want to change it, they're gonna be on the phone with you like, well, you bought the non-refundable, why are you trying to change it? You can change it, but you're gonna pay the full price a lot of times, or even higher sometimes, because a lot of times when you book a flight, you book it months in advance, right? 2, 3 months, 4 months in advance. When the day of your flight happens and you're trying to change a flight, to me, that's almost impossible. I don't know what the expectation is, maybe, what he was expecting Philippine Airlines to do, but I can tell he's soured over the Philippines because of that experience. Because he says here, but I think that is the difference. He says, zero ability slash will to deal with a situation that deviates from what is planned, and no is the accepted answer. For me, it's, I totally understand Philippine Airlines' point, because they're in it to make money. And a lot of times, I'm pretty sure if you read the fine print, there's going to be comments in there where it says you can't change the ticket, you can't replace the ticket. If you want to book another flight using this ticket, there's going to be a fee, there's going to be charge. But since that, I'm going to discuss it now. Since about patience, that's going to be my topic. Patience in the Philippines. So there's not going to be a confusion where I've always said it. You need a lot of patience here in the Philippines, and I'm just going to point out some of the things that you will experience here. All right. Good morning, brother Lisita. Okay, had to switch to tablet. All right. Hey, JP Calibo. Laptop is being weird. Okay, Daniel, Gino, are we still have the meet and greet around mid-April? You tell us. You tell me, Daniel. If you come here, you tell me the date when you want to do the meet and greet with the Panay Posse. I'll invite all of them. We'll go fishing at Loola's Fish Farm. You tell me the date. You're the what is that? You're the guest of honor. You're the guest of honor, Daniel. So. Just give me a date. I will book it with Loola's Fish Farm. We can all go fishing in April. I'll have the food set up. I'll have invite James and Karen, the Colonel, invite JP, Ruben, Edgar, invite everybody so you can meet everybody at one time. Morning, JP. God bless. Captain Ron. Hey, JP, did you get your Wilcon fix? Fortune. Good AM, JP. Good AM, Captain Ron. Good AM, Joe. Alex. Today at 11 a.m. today is a round of 16 match. I saw that, Fortune. Kevin Shores, you should try Korean barbecue unlimited restaurant franchise called Samyup. Samyup masarap. All right. I think I have. I think I have. I think Dazzle and I have tried that, Kevin Shores, because we love Korean barbecue. I mean, Dazzle and I think the one at SM City Iloilo, what it's Samyup Masarap. I think we've eaten there. We've eaten a lot of Korean all you can eat barbecue. Like and subscribe from Fortune. Pick me, pick me. I had to have my motorcycle right away. Embrace the adventures. It's the spice of your new life. Quality vehicles hold their value, so not much danger. Recommend travel insurance. Travel insurance. Yeah, that right, Derek. Isn't there something like that? Travel insurance. That's again that way. If you get in a bind with your airline ticket, but I think for me anyway, I know when I book a flight here in the Philippines, if something happens where I can't, I can't get on that flight, I'm losing that money unless I buy travel insurance. But I don't think I've ever bought travel insurance. Maybe because I'm cheap, maybe I'm frugal. I don't know how much they are. It's like usually I'm trying to get the cheapest airline ticket I can get already. So if I lose the money, luckily I haven't been in that situation where I missed a flight to where I had to skip my flight. Yes, same in the US. If you buy a cheaper non-refundable or you buy through a discounter, airlines will tell you to call who you bought the ticket through. If you bought through airline, they will. Yeah, to me, I couldn't speak about how it is in the US because I haven't been there. I haven't been in the US for 15 years now. It's been a while since I've been in the US, so I couldn't say, but I'm pretty sure they're gonna give you the runaround in the US also if you're trying to change your ticket. Especially if you buy a cheap non-refundable ticket. If you can't get on that plane, it's your loss for a lot of times. It's gonna be, even if there's a flight, if your flight is at noon and you miss your flight and there's a flight at 4 p.m., they're not gonna put you on that next flight. They're not gonna accommodate you like that because they want some of your money. They want you to have paid the flexible rate, the higher rate, or work with you if they were the reason. Yeah, if they were the ones at fault, if the Philippine Airlines, their plane broke, then they'll work with you, right? They'll put you on the next. But if it's your fault that you miss a flight, that's the way I've always understood how airlines work. It's not. They're not gonna bend backwards for you because you missed your flight. Maybe it was you should have planned better. Shouldn't cut it close to, if you have a connecting flight going from LA to Manila and you're trying to fly in there the same day, you're taking a chance, right? Me, I would have flown the day before because that's a big chunk of money that you paid money from LA to Manila. I'm gonna fly the day before to LA, stay at a hotel, make sure I'm there for my flight. I'm not gonna do that 4 or 5. Oh, I got time, 4 or 5 hours. That should be plenty of time. Stuff happens and delays, right? Delays happen. Said hi, Titan. Southern Cal Benny, when you buy a ticket, make sure it's issued by one airline so that if there's a problem, the airline will be responsible for rebooking if any delays were caused by the airline. He flew Delta and he's trying to catch a flight on Philippine Airlines. So what does Philippine Airlines got to do with Delta? That's the way I look at it, right? But I understand the frustration of Americans because all right, Mom. I do understand because in America, when you're the customer in America, you always have this feeling customers always right. They should bend over backwards for me. Doesn't work like that here in the Philippines. Let me warn you about that. It doesn't work like the customer is not always right here in the Philippines. Here in the Philippines, any business here, it could be a department store. It could be, I just saw somebody made a post. I'll bring this up. Wilcon Depot. I'm going to talk about Wilcon Depot too. If they have a policy here, let's say it's a Philippine Airlines policy here for domestic travel, and you buy your ticket. When you buy your ticket, you basically say, I acknowledge, I understand their policy of non-refundable, not changeable, not there's not much you can do. It doesn't really matter what happened to you that you didn't make the flight. You can talk your ear off with the people here. In the Philippines, it just doesn't work like that. People here are very, they follow the whatever policy that the company says. They will follow that to a T. Hotels, airlines, ferries, anything, they're not gonna deviate, especially an employee. It doesn't even matter when you get up there, and foreigners have a tendency of getting irate, making themselves loud, harass the front desk person. You do this, and let me talk to your manager. Who's the man? Who's in charge here? Foreigners are known to do that here. Even if the manager comes out there, they are not gonna deviate from their hotel policy, in a government agency, especially at the port, even at the ferry to Boracay. They are not going to go against what rule has been set. Oh, I'm kind of hearing something here. Let me see. I thought I'm hearing things, man. I thought maybe an animal, a cat or something is scratching. But they are not going to deviate from their policies here. That's just the way it is here. Employees here, they're not going to make a decision. Like, let's say you're in a hotel, you're checking in, the manager, whoever, is just a front desk there. They're not going to deviate, even if it makes sense to do what you want done, they're not going to deviate. Because a lot of times those employees, man, they're just trying to hang on to their jobs. They do not want to get fired. They do not want to accommodate you. Next thing you know, they have to answer to their supervisor. I'm like, maybe somebody's outside. I'm hearing things. There's a guy landscaping my tree here, cutting my tree. I'm like, I know I'm hearing things. Yeah. Let me close the door. That's what I was hearing. I was like, I know I'm not here though. I'm not going crazy. I'm hearing a guy doing that big scissor kind of thing. He's cutting my tree, man. The leaves on my tree. Even at the port, perfect example. If you're going from Caticlan, mainland Aklan, you're going to Boracay Island. It's a 15-minute ferry ride, 15 minutes. It's supposed to be super simple, but the process is so chaotic, and it's been like that for the 15 years I've been here. They've never been able to fix it. I actually think, just my own opinion, I think they don't want to fix it, because the reason sometimes that there are processes here in the Philippines, like at the Land Transportation Office, go to window 1, go to window 2, get your picture taken at window 3, get window 4, pay the cashier, window 5, get your fingerprints done. They got all these steps. I think they do it on purpose. I really do. Just my opinion. And same thing at the port. Go to the check-in area where they check your papers. Go to window 1 to pay your environmental fee. Hand receipt, man. Paper receipt. Go to pay your terminal fee. Another paper receipt. Somebody handwriting your information and giving you a paper receipt. Then get you a ticket for your boat. They give you a piece of paper for your boat. You've got to fill out that paper and then take that paper to another person to give you the actual seat on your boat. They got all these processes. I think they do it on purpose, because anywhere you go, there's always a bypass to all that. If you don't want to do all that steps, there's always a bypass, which costs money. So it's almost, in my mind, it's almost like they try to make it hard for people. That way, they would rather pay someone to take care of it for them. Here in the Philippines, that I've just noticed that with so many things. If you buy land here, if you want a title on your land, that is the craziest process that you're going to go through here. If your Filipina decides to buy land from another person, Dazzle had to go through that when we bought our land in Caticlan. So many steps. You got to go to pay the BIR, Bureau of Internal Revenue. You got to go to the DENR, the environmental people here. You got to go to the regional court. Make sure there's not a case against that land. You got to register your deeds. They're just like step after step. And each office that you go to, you got to stand in there for hours, man. The Bureau of Internal, BIR, Internal Revenue here, like the IRS of the Philippines, they don't even open at like 8. And by 7, there's like 50 people in line just to get in. Just to ask a question. There is no person, like you can't go online, you can't call a person on the phone. You gotta stand in line in front of that building before they open the gate and be in queue. When they open, the guard will pass out numbers and you could be number 50 and you've been there. And then just to ask a question. And I think they do that on purpose, like I said, because a lot of these places, when you're processing land title, when you're trying to get your LTO, like a driver's license, a register, anything that you do here, there's always a bypass. I know it's supposed to be illegal. I'm not going to go into it because I don't want to get in trouble or anything. There is like a no fixer. There's not supposed to be any fixers anymore, especially in government agencies. No fixer rule here in the Philippines. But I think most of us that's been here, most of us expats, Filipinos that's been here, they are around. It's not. And I think that's why they make these processes so complicated, because the people that can fix the problem for you, they're gonna lose a job. If everything in the Philippines is efficient, like in the United States, when you go to DMV to renew your license, a lot of times you can do it online. You don't even have to show up, right? You can do it online. Let me just, man, that guy's cutting is like, I'm hearing like, I'm hearing that guy. I'm like, it's like distracting me. But I do think that's the reason why a lot of processes here in the Philippines are complicated because of that. Because there's always like, you can always pay somebody to like, so you don't have to go through all that process. Like I know a friend of mine, he doesn't go to the port anymore in Boracay because it frustrates him every time he has to go to Boracay. So now there's the Caticlan Jetty Port where all the craziness happened when you go to Boracay. Now he uses, it's not in the same building, a separate place in Caticlan where they have a speedboat that takes you to Boracay Island. You don't have to do all that processing at Caticlan. You can ride a speedboat, gets you there quicker. You don't have to line, hassle, and all that. But it costs money to be on that speedboat, So that's the way it is here in the Philippines. If you don't want to go through all the nonsense, all the craziness, you have to pay the money. You have to pay the money here. JP, High Fortune, Joe K, Captain Ron, Loa, Lucita, Titan, hi. How about Mang Inasal and Max Filipino Restaurant? Kevin, sure, Mang Inasal to me, it's fast food. Fast food to me. I mean, their food's, I would say okay. Mang Inasal's okay, but lately when I've been disappointed eating at Mang Inasal because a lot of times I noticed like with their chicken, they pre-cook their chicken. I don't know if they boiled their chicken or they half-cooked their chicken, but it seems like before they serve it to you, it's already half-cooked or whatever, and they just grill it real quick, so it looks kind of like, But when you eat it, when you bite into it, a lot of times it's kind of dry chicken. I used to be a big fan of Mang Inasal. Not so much, not so much. Now Max is a still. I still like Max. If Max is more sit down, more pricier than Mang Inasal, more expensive because it's made to order. If you order chicken, they'll fry your whole chicken. If you order chop suey, they'll cook it per order. I paid an extra $80 to $100 on my Tokyo flight. When I got sent the wrong gate, I missed my flight and got bumped to business class. Great investment. Yeah, right? To me, that exists, right? I think when you buy the bargain low ticket that I usually get, I cannot ask for any perks. If I miss my flight, that ticket is toast. You know, it's like I understand that. That's why if you want to be able to be flexible and change your flight, or you miss your flight, get the next flight, you need to pay the money. You need to pay the money. Get that more in Cebu Pacific. They got the flexible Philippine Airlines. I know they have the flexible rate too. Sometimes twice the price of the ticket. That's why you're allowed to change it. Are you 34? Oh no, that's too kind, brother. Too kind, man. I'm 59, man. I'll be 60 in a couple of months here, Titan. JP, Captain Ron, I am changing the direction of the fan depending on the angle of the sun, or just stay in the bedroom. Titan said hi. All right, anytime from the 8th to the 13th ever is good for me. All right, let me see if I can take a picture of that. I'll just set up the date. To me, I wanted you to set up the date, Daniel, because I don't know when you're going to be here. You know, I don't know what day you're coming, but I can do it 8th to the 13th. I'll just message you. We'll plan something. Maybe like a weekday here. That way, there's not, the weekend usually there's a lot of people fishing during the weekend, so we'll do it on a weekday. I have a 10-hour layover in Manila. Ooh, that's a long layover, but if you got a 10-hour layover in Manila, you can leave the airport. I mean, you can store your luggage at the airport in Manila, or get it checked in already, or whatever. Mall of Asia is not far from. That'd be hard to wait 10 hours in the airport, man. But they do have stuff in there. But I would like do something near the airport, like at Mall of Asia. Hi, JP Capis. JP Capis, yeah, JP Capis. Hey, Albaton. All right, Lawrence, my brother in Parañaque. Life is good, my friend. Thank you so much for joining the live stream this morning. I got my flights through Expedia because they were 2 international flights with different airlines. My insurance was $80 for tickets and was worth it. Way cheaper than fixing. Yeah, right. I didn't know. That you got insurance, so get insurance. That way, you can avoid those kind of things, right? I don't get the logic of getting mad at Philippine Airlines because you're missing your flight. To me. You're expecting them to change your flight, but you're not doing the flexible rate, the insurance, or whatever. Belus, good morning, Gino. Hey, Belus, my brother in Leyte. Oh, listening in. Have a great day. Have a great day, Belus. Ramil, hey, Ramil. Good morning, everyone, and many blessings to all. Joke, I'm not in Capiz yet. I have located a couple apartments that will work. Probable not making the move for a few months. All right. Take your time, JP, right? What's the rush, man? You're retired in the Philippines, man. There is no rush to do anything, man. All right. And now I'm going to talk to you why sometimes it really takes a lot. I cannot reiterate enough that it's another level of patience that you have to bring here to the Philippines. And I'm just gonna go talk about different things that what I see where people here, foreigners, where they struggle with patience. This one, I'm taking this from one of my Facebook groups. This guy, he says, shopping at Wilcon Depot is intensely irritating. Wilcon Depot here, we have one here in Makato, not far from my house, 10-15 minutes. Wilcon Depot is kind of like a Home Depot. It's a Home Depot. Massive, man. Man, they sell everything that you need in your house: refrigerator, sink, toilet, bathtub, furniture, you name it. They got it at Wilcon Depot. So here's he says, intensely irritating. This is from our expat. Why is it necessary to have 50 staff, only 5 of which appear to be doing any actual work? And you will see this every time I go to Wilcon Depot in Makato. The number of employees outnumber the number of customers. I can go in there and there will be maybe 10 of us customers in there. Massive warehouse, right? 10 of us customers there, and they have about 50 or more employees, and they're usually like 2 or 3 are following me, like sir, and I've learned it, to me. Hey, it's like all I tell them is say, I'm shopping around, I'll call you when I need you. Usually that works. But usually there's 1 or 2 that will just kind of keep an eye on you, hanging out in the back, kind of spying on you. That way, when you have a question, I mean, they're helpful. They're helpful when you're finally ready to buy anything. And then he continues. He continues in his observation of Wilcon Depot. Why does my purchase need to be written up, entered by the cashier, packed by someone else who checks the cashier, then released by a guard who checks the packer? Yeah. So he is like, to me, these are the things that, to me, you cannot let, whatever you learn in the developed country you live, if you live in America, how efficient, scan your stuff, you're at the door, or sometimes self-checkout. It doesn't work like that here in the Philippines. So that's the thing, you gotta change your mindset. You gotta remove that mindset to where I think people that have the hardest time adapting here to the Philippines are the ones that are constantly comparing the Philippines to America. They struggle here. And to me, I don't even think it's a fair comparison. Why would you compare a developed country like the US, efficient at a lot of things, to a developing country? To a country that's barely using computers or barely using scanners, or there's still handwriting receipts here. That's how dated the processes are here in the Philippines. Why do you think they have to, the cashier have to write it down? Why do you think the bagger has to double check it, initial it? And why do you think the guard has to come over and initial it? A lot of that is because of the owner, the Wilcon Depot. They're worried about theft. They're worried about stuff going out the door. People acting like they're buying and that stuff is going out the door because they have expensive stuff at Wilcon Depot. I have actually seen this happen at Wilcon Depot. There's different sections at Wilcon Depot. The cashier line. If an employee is like, let's say he's in the area where he's selling items and he's got to cross over to the cashier to another area, the employee actually, I have seen this with my own eyes, man. Employee has to actually stand on a box about that high. The employee stands on the box. Security guard comes up to him and pats him down, like checking if he put anything in his pocket, if he straps something in his shirt. Basically, again, theft. They are worried about theft. That's why they have this 1 check, 2 check, 3 check, because they're worried that an item in the store is leaving the store without getting the money, because there's stuff that happens. Stuff like that happens here. The payment. Okay. The third thing he talks about, why does a simple return or exchange or a faulty product requires several hours of intended negotiation with several layers of management. Okay, that is why here in the Philippines, when you come to the Philippines and you buy anything, especially electronic, like I bought like the microwave, the rice cooker, the hot pot, the toaster, be, even a light bulb here. Anything electronic here, when you buy it, you will have to test it. Like that microwave, they actually have to like take it out of the box, plug it in, put water in there in a cup to see if it can heat water. The reason they do that is like the minute you leave that store, you have very limited time to return that item. A lot of times it'll say it on your paper receipt. Again, paper receipt, they'll say there, you have 7 days to return this if it's broken. You do have warranty, but the warranty is not with the store. If your item breaks after the 7 days, you can't return it to the store. Unlike in the US, right? You go to Walmart, hey, just get another one. They'll replace it to you, you know? You can have an item in your house several months that you never use. Bring it to the store. Receipt, no receipt, they'll exchange it. They want to keep your business. Here in the Philippines, it doesn't work like that. Here, you know, the minute you walk out the store there with that electronic item, very limited warranty on that thing. A lot of times 7 days with the shop. Now you still have warranty with the you know, if I buy like a Hanabishi is a brand here in the Philippines. It might have a 1 year, 2 year warranty on my toaster or my microwave, but I have to take it to a repair station, like a Hanabishi repair station, and guess what? I better have the receipt. I better have registered it when I bought it. You know how when you buy something, it comes with that registration, put your name, put all that stuff, mail it to them or whatever. You better have all your paperwork for it. You cannot show up at the Samsung repair center here and expect them to fix it. Hanabishi, several other. You cannot expect them to fix it without any paperwork showing that it's yours or how old that thing is. Not gonna happen. I know in the US, they're very because in the US, they wanna keep your business, right? They wanna like keep you as a customer. Not the same dynamic here. That will frustrate you here. Like you said, the guy here, a simple return or exchange. Take you hours, take you management, it will drive you nuts. It will drive you nuts. But you know, you just gotta know that it's just a different system here. Again, if you're bringing that mindset, American mindset on returning items, exchanging items, it doesn't work like that here. It's gonna frustrate you. You're the one that anything here in the Philippines, you are the one that needs to adjust. The people here, the businesses here, they're not going to adjust to you. You know, you're thinking, well, I'm the customer. I'm always right. I'm not coming back there. They're losing my business. They don't even care about that. They are so strict here as far as following the rules, following the order of their supervisor, or following company policy. They're not going to deviate that because of one person. Jason Artemo. All right, Artemo. Okay, thank you, Jason. Lone Star. Hey, Lone Star, my Alan, my good friend in Texas. How did you know? The land till titling process is crazy. Yo, unfortunately, you went through it. You went through it, right, Alan? So I'm sure when you're going through the whole process, I'm sure you were approached by somebody to say, we can take care of it for you, right? But for a payment. This Toto is like playing here. My other dog. Elna and I are grateful we got ours processed quickly. The key is the seller needs to have their paperwork in order. Definitely. If you're missing any type of paperwork when it's selling land or buying land or anything, man, you're gonna be up against it here. JP, look at TPL. Oh yeah, TPL Rentals. That's Michael Smith's channel, www.tplrentals.com. I checked it out. Many rentals in the Philippines, all over the Philippines. A really great website that Michael started, That Philippines Life. Yes, we had to do a court order, new on title for farms, and have new titles made with all the fees. 100,000 pesos with all the fees. And that's the way it is here. If you want to get it done right, if you don't want to go through all the different steps, usually there's a person that you can pay and they can get it done for you. If you try to do it on your own, especially titling land, buying, anything like that, it's the craziest process that you would. I mean, Dazzle, she was like so stressed when she was doing all the paperwork for that. We actually got our property in Calibo and Argao processed at the same time. Joe, GP, you may be currently living in Calibo, but your heart is in Capiz now. His heart is in Capiz now. We flying pal. Check bags are checked to Tacloban. Yeah, for me, I've always recommended to people, Derek, if you're flying from the United States and your final destination is not Manila or Cebu, if you got to take a domestic flight, I always tell them, fly Philippine Airlines, because when you land in Manila, Philippine Airlines has their own airport. Philippine Airlines has their own, the domestic and international, one airport in Manila, one terminal. So you don't have to, like, let's say you fly United from San Francisco, you land in Manila, and your domestic flight is in Philippine Airlines. You're going from one international terminal to like the domestic terminal. You got to bring your luggage. You got to get your luggage out of the airport, ride it in one of those buses, transport it to another terminal. It's just so much easier if you're flying one airlines. Like Derek, if he's flying in from Hawaii, he's going to Cebu or he's going to Manila, his next flight is to Tacloban. Your luggage is just like coming from the Hawaii to Manila. They're just going to process it through. It's like you don't have to check it out. If you're flying in from Hawaii on Hawaiian Airlines, let's say, you land at that terminal in Manila, you got to lug your luggage out of a international airport, take it on a bus, go to the domestic, and then have to go through the security. And here in the Philippines, when you go through security here, man, you go through like 2-3 security checks on your luggage on hand carry, man. It's like one security check, you think you're done. Next thing you know, they got a security check again. It's like. So I always tell people, Philippine Airlines, if you're flying from the U.S., all the way, fly Philippine Airlines, one airlines, because, you won't run into trouble. And then maybe something happened like that, like where you have to change, if you buy the flexible rate on Philippine Airlines. But if you're coming from another airlines and going into Philippine Airlines, they don't care, man. They don't care. They basically are looking at you. Well, you didn't show up your flight. You didn't show up your flight. Bye, everyone, from Kevin Shores. All right. Chantel, slow down. All right, calm down. Calm down. Calm down. Good AM, Southern Cal, Benny from Fortune. Even the Kuya guards have many jobs while at work. They guard the store, check receipts, park cars, and load. I know, right? It's like multitask. The security guards here. I mean, the security guards here in our community, man, they not only have to like check vehicles in, out, they check like if somebody's bringing in like construction material, they got to have a permit, permission for that. They get packages, delivery, Lazada deliveries. I can leave my money with the security guard and he can get the package for me. multiple tasks. Multiple tasks. They gotta watch out for roosters. They gotta watch out for stray dogs. Because like the community don't want like roosters and stray dogs. So that's the job of the security guard, to keep them out. Nice, Daniel. Extra $80 for business class. April 9 is a holiday here. All right, thank you, Fortune. I'll keep that in mind. Man, I can't even believe we're almost like, March is like flying through, man. Good morning, Baloos. Hey, Brian, happy Wednesday to you. Hey, happy Wednesday, Brian. Just want this is hey, thank you, Brian. Appreciate it, my friend. Also, April 2, 3, Maudie Thursday. Yeah, what's the Holy Week, man. That's a big holiday here. The whole Holy Week, man. That's like a big holiday here in the Philippines. Hope and the family have a great day. Yes, we should have, that guy is still cutting my tree, man. He's like, the leaves, it's funny how he's pretty good at it. He shapes the tree like round, it's like, so he's like doing that with the big, he's got a tall ladder and he's cutting them. It's amazing, really, watching him here, man. Hard worker, out in the sun, man, out in the sun. First Holy Week for Edgar and JP. They will experience more Pinoy. Oh, for sure. Gonna be amazing experiences. Does Wilson offer extended warranty? Wilson offer extended warranty. Wilson, that's like the tennis racket. One thing about extended warranties here, Derek, I don't notice them as much as in the US. When I was in the US, man, anything you buy, they're trying to sell you like extended warranty. I guess because a lot of items here in the Philippines that they sell, even in Calibo, a lot of them are inexpensive, so it doesn't make sense to get extended warranty. Extended warranty is not popular here. I don't see many extended warranties here. Billions of dollars are shoplifted or by employees in the US. If you are comparing everything in the Philippines in a negative way to your home country, do yourself and everyone else up there and go home. Yeah. Oh, continuing about Wilcon Depot, because it's not done here. It's got more stuff here. Despite their systems being linked, why is it impossible for a store to check stock levels at a nearby store? In the cities here in the Philippines, there's more than one Wilcon Depot in the city. Like if you're Manila, Cebu, several Wilcon Depot. So this guy is like, why is it that one Wilcon Depot can't check with the other store whether they have it in a supply? Why can't they check it in their computers? The thing here in the Philippines that you have to be they're not linked to each other. Even banks here, banks, Fortune can tell you this, each branch operates different from another. It could be in Calibo. There's a couple of Banco de Oro in Calibo. I think 3 or 4 now. They don't communicate with each other. Your money at your branch, like my branch is the one at Gran Gaisano. That's my branch. That's where my passbook is. That's where I can get my money from Banco de Oro. It's not the same in the US where you're thinking Home Depot. If I'm in Home Depot in the South Tucson, they should be able to check the North Tucson store if it's available. They should be able to tell you, hey, blah, 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 punch it on the computer. We're out of stock here, but you can go to the North area store. It doesn't work like that here. Each individual Wilcon Depot, they work separate from other Wilcon Depot. Again, a difference. That's why you're gonna need patience here. What you're used to in the U.S. might not apply here. And if you got that mindset, like even Joe Cano is saying, you're gonna have a hard time here. Maybe the Philippines is not for you. And here he says, it's an exercise in sheer inefficiency and frustration. even for those who are accustomed to Filipino time. Lots to love about the Philippines, but a trip to Wilcon isn't on that list. So that's how he ended. That's how he ends it. His rant over Wilcon, and to me, it's almost kind of it makes me laugh because man, if you get extremely irate about a visit to Wilcon Depot, I don't know how this gentleman can survive the Philippines. You know, I don't know how can he survive the Philippines because like if that upsets you, the way they do business at Wilcon Depot, I don't know how he would survive it here in the Philippines, man. I can definitely see he's one of those people probably that complains about everything in the Philippines. And to me, I never could understand that anyway. There's ex-foreigners here. They come here to the Philippines and all they do is compare the Philippines, how better it is in their country, how everything runs efficient in their country. Do you think Filipinos don't know that? I know it. Filipino locals know it. We know how inefficient the Philippines is. But this is the system that that's here in the Philippines. There's nothing we can do to change it here. And again, I think the reason they don't want to change it is because of those fixers. It's because of those VIP service. The VIP service that charges you extra if you don't want to go through the hassle of being like one of the locals. Good morning, Bill. Good morning, Bill. Castaway. Good morning. Hey, good morning, Michael S. The Duke of Duma. The Duke of Duma. BBM said he favored intervention. If peso falls further, that could mean no 60. Oh, okay. All right. Thank you, Fortune. I've not seen 60. I've never, 59.50 is the highest I've seen the peso against the US dollar. Good AM, Mike S., the Duke of Duma. Good morning, Fortune. Good morning, Master Fortune from Castaway Drift. Hi, Castaway Drift, Fortune, morning. John Vasquez, good morning, Gino. Derek, and I'm bringing 4 balikbayan boxes on PAL. So it makes sense, like Derek, you're doing the right way that you're flying PAL all the way to Tacloban, especially if you're bringing 4 balikbayan boxes, because if you landed in Cebu or you landed in Manila, I don't know which flight you took, but if you landed on those 2 areas and you're on United, on Hawaiian Airlines, on China Airlines, Korean Airlines, when you switch over to Philippine Airlines, there's no telling what kind of fees that you got to pay with Philippine Airlines, especially if you're bringing 4 balikbayan boxes. At least you know that the airlines know that you're bringing 4 balikbayan boxes in the domestic flight. So a lot easier, makes your life a lot easier. Joe Cano, back in the 8-9, I was frustrated with the modern stores having everything in the computer and nobody knew how to manually do a transaction when the power was out. That's not a problem here. That's not a problem here. Any business here, I mean, they're so used to power outages here. Even the 7-Eleven here, the minute they have a power outage, they just go to paper. Everybody goes to paper here. That's not an issue here. Okay, so let me see. I'm looking at my notes now to discuss. To me, I always think about this too. You know, it's like for the people, I always like, you know, the people that the Philippines is for. Somebody questioned. I was on my Facebook and Jalen Burton, I think he's one of my friends on Facebook. He goes, Gino, there's a perfect question for you, like something like that, because on one of our groups, he belongs to the group, I belong to the group. They were talking about this couple from the U.S. is coming here to the Philippines with kids, and she was saying that she's Filipina, born in the Philippines, raised in the United States, but she's coming in with like their $7,000 a month of their money. That's their income, monthly income to the Philippines. For me, those people don't need my help. You know, the people that are coming here to the Philippines with $7,000 a month, They can live pretty much anywhere here in the Philippines. They can live in BGC, they can live in Boracay, Baguio, you name it. They can live anywhere here. To me, a lot of times I think that's, for me, that's not the people that I end up helping. The ones that I end up helping here are the ones that they can't handle the expenses in the US. They can't retire in the US anymore because of how everything has gotten expensive. And that's why they're coming here. They're coming here because their pension goes a longer way here. They get value for their pension here. That's why they're coming here. It's not it's the ones that are, I never could get that anyway. If you're making $7,000 in the US, I'm thinking, man, US to me would be the better place for you. It's like, that's a lot of money even in the US, right? I don't understand. Maybe, some people can explain it to me, but I would not be retired here in the Philippines if I can afford retirement on my military pension in the United States, because everything's more efficient in the US. Everything's, you get better everything, Western style accommodations, everything is just more, everything's more efficient, computerized. The Philippines is really, to me anyway, just my opinion, is for the people that can't afford retirement in the US. People that are like, man, my retirement might not last. I can't, or you retire in the US and every month you're on a deficit. You're like, some part of your savings is pushing out, so that's not a good situation. So those are the people that come here. The people that come here, I think, mostly that I see, are the ones that want to retire on the budget. They know they can get more for their money. They can get more for their pension here. JP, all right, my favorite welcome to the Philippines was McDonald's. Ordering kiosks were offline. You could enter the order and print a ticket, but not pay. Then the employee hand wrote your order. That happens, right? That happens all the time, like at Jollibee here, because a lot of times Jollibee, there's a lot of queue. There's like a lot of people line up for Jollibee, and usually there's somebody that will come up to you with a piece of paper taking your order at Jollibee to get it advanced to like to the cashier. That way, when you get up to the cashier, they've already ordered it. Colonel, good morning, everyone. Hey, Colonel, good morning. John, good morning. Got any advice on love? I got this. I'm not a love doctor. I'm not a love doctor. I don't know much about advice regarding love, but one thing I can advise you, make sure you meet the right Filipina. Make sure you watch out for red flags. Red flags are things that if you're Filipina, you haven't met the Filipina in person, if you're on a long distance relationship, and the Filipina seems to be asking money all the time, big red flag, big red flag. Sir Colonel, good morning. Morning, Colonel. God bless. Morning, Rawhide Rider. Have you been to the Rib Shack lately? No, we haven't been to the Rib Shack lately. Lately, we've been busy at Leanna's school. She's like, I think her exams is Thursday, Friday, and then next week, I think they have a dance or something left. But Leanna's like the school, she's the class president, so we have to help out with Leanna in school. She's got a lot of activities. I haven't had the time to like eat out lately. And probably not going to be eating out lately more either, man, just because with the gas prices and all that, man, we're just pretty much staying home, saving some of our gasoline. JP, hello, Colonel John V. That's good advice. I'm going to edit this for a video. You're going to edit it for the video? All right, let me see here. Rib Shack is pretty good for a quick meal. Oh yeah, it's awesome, man. Rib Shack is awesome. To me, like I've always said, if you can afford retirement in the United States, that's the best place to retire. A lot better than retiring in the Philippines. To me, it doesn't make sense to like you've lived all your life in the developed country. You're like everything's efficient, everything's like organized, and you're moving to a third world country where you can afford the U.S. anyway. You know, like even for Phil Ams that I know that live in California, relatives of mine that live in Houston, they have no desire of moving back to the Philippines because they know the chaos that is the Philippines, the inefficiency here. Everything's so inefficient. Everything's like that will drive them nuts. And they're Filipinos. They're Filipino Americans. So I can even imagine it for like if you can afford life in the U.S. Of course you're gonna be going like, oh, it's better in the U.S. It's better in the U.S. So you don't need to come here. The Philippines really is for people that can't afford to retire in the United States. That's why they come here. They want to get more bang for their money. That's why they come here to the Philippines. To me, it doesn't make sense to me if you're if you're living in the US, you come to the Philippines and you're gonna spend the same amount of money here, you're not gonna get the same services that you're used to in the United States. Even the hotels, Airbnbs, anything that you experience you're always gonna compare it to the US and you're always gonna go, this is not better, you know. Hi, brother and friends. Pinay Heart. Hello, Pinay Heart. I had Rib Shack last weekend. Blue Marlin was good but dry. Yeah, we've never tried the Blue Marlin. Dazzle always go for, what is that other fish? I forgot what other fish. It's a whole fish with the head and tail and everything. That's more moist. The other fish, Blue Marlin does have a tendency of drying because a lot of the fish they serve there are frozen. So if you figure frozen and they gotta grill it, so it's not as fresh and it dries up easy. Gino, you're right. Not a love doctor. Not a love doctor. Cause you're nothing like Dr. Ruth. Dr. Ruth, yeah, I don't look like Dr. Ruth, man. If you are a person looking for a friend to talk about nothing but negative, toxic things, I'm not your guy. So many more positive things to surround and consume in your life. I'm walking on sunshine. Right? Amen, brother. Amen, my brother from another. Yeah, why waste your time on all the negativity, man? Life's too good. Life's too good to be where has Gus Fring been? I haven't heard a Gus Fring statement. I haven't seen him. I decide what he deserves. No one else. Nobody's told me that I look like Gus Fring lately, JP, for a while now, for a long time now, man. It's not just the dollars, the quality of life and safety are world apart. Fish sticks. Derek, fish sticks. Some of the things that really will require your patience here. One of my friends before had posted there what frustrated him. He had called one of the local hospitals here in Calibo. They told him the doctor. They told him he had the 9 o'clock appointment. So my friend, he's a foreigner. He went to the appointment at 9 o'clock. Of course, at 9, the doctors here, they never show up on time. You know, it's rarely does the doctor here shows up on time because they have to do rounds like Fortune had said before. They have to do their rounds at the hospital. They see other patients before they even do their clinic. So my friend, they told him, show up at 9. So what he didn't understand when it says the clinic starts at 9 is the time when the clinic's supposed to open. He doesn't have a 9 o'clock appointment. And that's the biggest frustration. He didn't understand that. That's why he ended up ranting on Facebook, making things that he should have never done. But because he didn't understand the process, right? In the US, if you have a 9 o'clock appointment, chances are 9 o'clock, they will see you at 9 o'clock. Here in the Philippines, if you have a 9 o'clock appointment here, a doctor's appointment, that's basically, there's at 9 o'clock, there might be 20 to 30 people listed at 9 o'clock. There's not a 9 o'clock person, 9:10, 9:20. There's not, it doesn't work like that. At 9 o'clock, that clinic will have about 20, sometimes bigger lists of people that's got to be seen. So depending on where you got put on the list, like if he had gotten put on the list, let's say 10 out of 20, the doctor is supposed to start clinic at 9. The doctor doesn't show up till 10, 10:30. The doctor, when he shows up at 10, 10:30, he's going to see the first patient and then go from there. So what frustrated him, he said, why did they tell me to be here at 9 and they did not see me till like past noon? I've been waiting here for 3 hours. You know, for Filipinos, especially here in the province, 3 hours is nothing to wait for an appointment. And that's just the difference between Americans here, foreigners here, compared to Filipinos. We are built to wait. Maybe me built more because in the military, hurry up and wait in the military. But that is just the way it is here. If you're not a patient person, chances are, I've seen it happen here. I'd be at an appointment, I'm sitting there in an appointment, waiting like everybody else waiting. I'm on my phone, sometimes my laptop, sometimes I do a live stream. And it always happens. There's going to be a foreigner that keeps bothering, like the receptionist. When is the doctor going to come? How I was told to be here at 9. You know, what's going on here? This is bad way to do business. Just making a scene always happens, unfortunately. But to me, that's the thing you got to understand about the Philippines. The medical appointments, especially the doctors, the hospital, that's how they operate here. That's how they do business here. To the Filipinos, that is common. We know that, you know. So for you to make a scene, make a fool out of yourself at that appointment, you're just stressing yourself out because they're not going to see you just because you're mouthing off, just making a scene. You can even leave. And trust me, they do not care if you leave because they have tons of other patients, you know. You're the one that needs the service. You're the one, you know, if you can't handle things like that, like I said, maybe the Philippines is not for you. Derek, your latest video, very informative on healthcare. All right, thank you, Derek. I'm glad you like that video on healthcare. I have a lot of experience on healthcare here, man. So I went through the cancer treatments here 3 years ago. So many experience on TRICARE. I have a TRICARE playlist on our Dazzle TV YouTube page. If you're interested in TRICARE insurance here in the Philippines, I pretty much have seen everything as far as like getting medical care here in the Philippines. And one thing I'll tell you, I was 27 years, 20 in the military, 7 in the civilian hospitals in the United States. You can get the same service that you get in the US and the same medical service here in the Philippines. You just got to find it. You just got to do your research. You cannot expect to get good medical care here if you decide a remote area in the province. If you decide Mindanao, something up in the mountains of Mindanao, you cannot expect the same medical care that you would get being in a city like Iloilo City or even here in Kalibo. One of the things that I keep telling people coming to Kalibo, we got Asia Pacific Medical Center now. So if you need good medical care, we got it in Kalibo now at Asia Pacific Medical Center. I know JP, he's moving to Capiz. Yeah, I can't blame him. You know, Eden's there, the love of his life, so I can understand. But you know, the medical care that he'll get at Mambusao, Capiz, especially up in the mountains, you're not gonna get Asia Pacific Medical Center type facility there. You'll be lucky if they have like a urgent care or whatever, that a doctor even, up there in the mountains. So just keep that in mind. It's a trade-off. It's a trade-off that you have to do here. Colonel, can't complain here about healthcare too much. Try going to a local hospital in Thailand. Now that's educational. You will appreciate the Philippines. Yeah, yes. I haven't. I haven't gone to a hospital in Thailand, Colonel. Being patient means less stress for me. Left that mentality at home in the States, which created that stressful. It is, man. I see it. I see it with a lot of foreigners that come here, especially see it with a lot of Americans. They bring that mindset here in the Philippines is, this is how it is in America. How come it's not like this in the Philippines? To me, you're going to struggle here. If you keep comparing the Philippines to America, you're going to be frustrated with so many things here. It's like, you're going to be frustrated where everything's always out of stock, not available. You go to McDonald's and there's no quarter pounder available. We're out of burgers. Or you go to Jollibee, they're out of chicken. Stuff like that don't happen in the U.S. But here happens all the time. We live here in Panay Island. They gotta ship. It's not locally sourced. Somebody the supplies they have to get from somewhere. Maybe it's Cebu, maybe Iloilo. I don't know. But a lot of times things run out. Half the menu a lot of times here are not available. They have these big menus and half of the stuff on the menu. But those are just kind of maybe they're for me they're minor, because to me it's like, well, it's like usually when Dazzle and I go to a restaurant, we have like 2-3 items on the menu that we have in mind, and then if they don't have the 3 available, we just leave. We just go, okay, so well, check you guys out next time. We'll go to another restaurant because we have time. We're never like in a hurry. We're never in a hurry. I don't care when I get anywhere here. Learn how to adapt here. Yes, adapt here, because a lot of times what I see, Michael S., is a lot of foreigners get here and they have a hard time adapting to the speed of everything. In America, everything is like boom. Everything's like, you might have like 45 minutes for lunch. You might, leave work, go to the drive-thru, hit the post office, hit our grocery, grab something. You can do that kind of stuff in the US. You can do multitasking. You're always like, okay, I get off at 4, I got to run to this place, pick up this thing, go to pick up my law, just multiple items that you could do. Here in the Philippines, a lot of times, man, let's say you got to renew your tourist visa. You better not plan anything else the rest of the day, depending on where you would get your tourist visa, right? If you go to the office in Iloilo City, plan a few hours processing your tourist visa in Iloilo City. It's just the way it is. You cannot like do multiple. If you're one day, okay, I'm gonna take care of my car registration and my tourist visa today. Chances are you'll only be able to do one of them, and then sometimes you'll end up doing that one thing 2 days. I've had it where when I renewed my registration on the motorbike, it took me 2 days to renew my registration because of that new license plate on Bumblebee rule. I was there 2 whole days just to get a license plate. Sitting in a building. I even videoed it, man. Sitting in a building, cramped, we're packed like sardines in there. No AC. No windows open. They had a few fans going. Man, it was a sauna in there. And I was sitting there like all day long. I was drinking water. I was sweating. It's like, again, if I wanted to avoid all that, I could have just find somebody to fix it. But I didn't. If I had known, I might have done it. I might have done it. If I didn't think I was gonna wait that long, because I'm PWD. I'm supposed to have priority even with my person with disability ID. When I show it, the guard actually escorts me, and I actually supposed to be in front of the line. But It still took 2 days to get a license plate, man. That's why I said it takes extreme patience here in the Philippines. When you go to the bank, I was just at the bank the other day. I had to get money from I got a Philippine National Bank dollar account, so I had to take money out of my dollar account. Again, I'm PWD, so I'm supposed to jump the line. Senior, person with disability, and pregnant women. You're supposed to jump the line, and you tell the guard, you show your ID, they'll give you a number with the designation that you're PWD. And even at that, just to get money out of my passbook. This is my own bank account, my own dollar account. I wanted to take $1,000 and then transfer it into pesos. It still took me an hour. It's like just to go from getting from the guard, sit down. When they call the number, you go up there to the teller, show your passbook, get your money. I had to sit back down again. Even as a PWD with a special preference to jump the line, it took me an hour to just get money from my bank book. It's just the way it is. If I didn't have my bank book, that would have been easy 2 hour, 3 hour just to get money from your passbook, because there's my passbook, because it's a dollar passbook. It's not connected to my ATM. My ATM for PNB, I have a ATM with PNB, is only connected to my peso account. I don't know how other banks, but here in the Philippines, if I wanted to take dollars out of my passbook, my dollar account, I can't use an ATM to get dollars. I have not seen in Calibo anyway, with PNB, Banco de Oro, I've not seen ATM that gives out dollars. So I have to show my passbook. That's why I have to go through. Like I said, if I was in PWD, it would have taken 2-3 hours at least just to get money out of my passbook. I mean, that's not a complicated process, right? You have a passbook that lists how much money you have. You go up to the teller, you show the passbook, your ID, I want my money, all right? That should be an easy process, but never, you have to show a lot of patience here in the Philippines. Easy peasy, Colonel, unless you go to big international hospital in Thailand. Gino, probably only St. Luke's and Makati Medical offer Western standard medical appointments. I've never been to either one. I've never seen. I've only been to Clark, Medical City Clark, and I go to Medical City Iloilo. And I can tell you, the medical service that I've gotten at Medical City Iloilo and Medical City Clark, it would be the same medical service that I got if I were at St. Mary's Hospital in Tucson, Arizona. Comparable equipment. I had a PET scan done at Medical City Clark when I got diagnosed with cancer, and the machine they use, the equipment they use, everything is like up to date, if not better than some of the machines we had at St. Mary's Hospital in Tucson. And I know Asia Pacific now, man, they got they've only been open like 2 years. So a lot of their equipment at Asia Pacific Medical Center in Calibo is almost brand new, top of the line, the latest equipment. But you just have to do your research. You cannot expect the same medical care that you get in the United States if you select a remote area here in the Philippines. To me, that doesn't make sense. If you go to Mindanao, some of those mountain areas in Mindanao, if you go here to Aklan and you go down there in Libacao, they're not going to have medical facility there. You'll be lucky if they have a clinic there. It's like, so if you got medical issues or you're concerned about having a heart attack or anything like that, you need to live close to like a facility like Asia Pacific Medical Center. The Colonel, not frustrated if comparing the women. I'm glad you mentioned that, Colonel, because I think a lot of it, this is just my opinion. I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings or anything, but a lot of it, I have seen so many now, so many expats here in the Philippines. They do not like anything about the Philippines. I'm sure Colonel, I'm sure Michael S., I'm sure everybody been around those people that you're looking at them, you're going like, what are you doing here in the Philippines, right? You seem like you hate the Philippines, you badmouth the Philippines, but they're here, right? And it boils down to they met a Filipina here, that's why they're here. You know, it's like from whatever country they came from, they can't meet a girl, they don't have a girl or no chance of, and they come here to the Philippines, and that's why they're able to put up with everything else in their mind that they're unhappy here, because at least here they have a partner. The only thing that's keeping some of them here is because they met a Filipina here. And then, you know, to me, that's even like an awkward place for the Filipina when you think about it, because I had a neighbor here, expat. He's not my neighbor now, thank goodness. Thank goodness. But man, yeah, he's in his 70s, his Filipinas in the mid-30s with 2 kids. Man, this lady's like the sweetest lady I've met. So very nice, very pleasant, and he's like one of those, like complains about everything. He just can't, you know, to me, he should just be happy to have somebody with him. You know, because I know if he went back to the United States, he would never meet anybody in the United States that would put up with him, you know. I feel the need to compare. Yeah, right there. Michael S. If you feel the need to compare, then stay there. USA or wherever you are from. If you miss what you always feel the need to compare to, then go back. Exactly, right? Go back to where you're comfortable. But again, I think a lot of it, Michael S., is because this is the only place where they find that they can find a partner. There's where they came from, where, the foreign country, whatever, the dating situation is not good. They can't meet a decent person. And a lot of times, you know, Filipinas here, man, some of them, man, I'm like, I don't know how they put up with some of the guys that they end up with here, man. I really don't, man. Sometimes I go, dang, girl, you got it going on. You're putting up with so much, you know, but it is what it is. You know, it's like, you got to do what you got to do sometimes to survive. JP, do you have any recommendation for eyeglasses? Oh, eyeglasses, JP. I like my eyeglasses, man. I love these frames. They're called Dior Superflex. I've always had this ever since I've been here in the Philippines. They don't have the bottom part, so they're not as heavy. Very light, man. My glasses. I almost sometimes forget that I wear glasses. I love these frames. They have it at City Mall, Calibo. There's a branch there, and the old Gaisano, Universal. I think Universal Eye Care is where I get these frames. That's what I've always used, but I like it. I like these frames and glasses. And these are the transition glasses. When I go outside, they get dark, so it's like I'm wearing sunglasses. I just recently used the same frame. You can renew the glasses, and the glasses were about 1,900 for the glasses itself, so about $36 for transition lenses. But the frame, I think when I initially bought the frame, I paid 4,000 for the frame. But I like it, really light. I just like this frame. So it's called Dior Superflex. Sometimes I forget I'm wearing glasses. They're so light on my face. Southern Cal, Benny. All right, Castaway Drip. Exactly, Castaway. JP, I always go to Executive Up. EO, yeah. Dazzle, that's where she bought her glasses. Grand Gaisano, EO. EO is the name. Executive Optical. Me, I guess, the reason I went to Universal, JP, they didn't have EO yet here in Calibo. So I'm kind of loyal when I guess since, I got my first glasses here at Universal, so I kind of loyal, man. I just stick to it because, I figure if it's not broke, why fix it? It's like I've gotten good glasses. The optometrist is really nice, so I've just stuck with them. Some people are just miserable and continue to drown themselves in the misery. I have never been happier here in the Philippines. It perfect? No, no, definitely not perfect. Even me, man. There's things that I see that I know could be improved, could be better, but I've just learned to accept the way they do things here because I'm not here to change the way Filipinos do process that they do, or when I go to hotels, I'm not one of those. I know what to expect. It's like. But nowhere is perfect for me, and yeah, perfect for you. Yeah. That's why we have adapted to a good life here, Michael S. Because we know, it's like, for me, it's always the people, right, Michael? It's always the people. The people are nicer here. It's like, I even, I'm surrounded by nicer people here in the Philippines than when I lived in America. Unfortunately, it's like, Americans, man, they can be tough to be around. They can be tough to be around when I was even in the U.S. A lot of times I just didn't say much. It's like you just have you'll be surrounded by just better people here. It's like people are more humble. People are more respectful. People don't really raise their voice here so fast or get angry so fast. That's what I usually see about foreigners here. It's like they get triggered by so many minute things here. They get triggered, and to me, they just make a fool out of themselves here. Sarabia is a Iloilo family. Oh, all right, I didn't know that, ma'am. I have a friend, my good friend Kalkin is a Sarabia. In Bacolod, they're Anglo-Optical, cousins with Sarabia Optical. Fortune is Acevedo Optical, still business in Metro Manila. Even see Acevedo here. Acevedo is like a popular name for optical, anyway, for optical. Executive Optical it is. All right. They got good deals there. They also got good glasses there. I want transition lenses. Yeah, just let them know you want transition lenses. Maybe the expat or foreigner should look in the mirror and do some self-reflection. In their home country with negative attitude. The problem is themselves. Yeah, unfortunately, from what I've seen, a lot of times, Michael S. It's the certain expats that are like that. They were probably the same way where they came from, right? And they came here to the Philippines, at a later time in their life, after Social Security. A lot of times, a lot of them, really can't change. I think it's just the way they are, the way. And I've said this before. They're just lucky that there's a place like the Philippines, that there are still Filipinas willing to put up with anything, willing to treat them well, even if they're not the nicest person. I'm sure you've seen it happen. You've seen many. Majority of the people that I've seen are good foreigners here. They have good partners. Filipina happy, expat happy. But there's always that certain number here where you can just tell it's not like a good relationship. A toxic environment a lot of times. Yes, Acevedo. JP, if your prescription isn't too strong or special like mine, you'll receive them the same day. Yeah, mine same day. Actually, 1 hour. 1 hour, Colonel. It's like I had my frame and my prescription came up some. It went from, I think, 225 to 250. And I can still see without glasses, but kind of blurry from the long distance. But an hour, they got it done in an hour. Same thing with Dazzle's glasses. I think she got hers in an hour. They can do that in an hour. Yep, hour. I have progressive bifocal lenses. Ooh, the bifocal. I don't know if they can do that in an hour, but you know, I'm sure you can get good deals at EO. I also JP plus other things. I don't need the safety lenses anymore with the little stamp proving it. I'm done with the metallic shaving. Peanut butter, hey, peanut butter travels. Hello, hello, hello. Many places have road rage, but in America's life rage. Life rage. Good morning, good afternoon, good panay posse, hey, Bon. All right. So very true, Gino. It's all about the people here, the locals, that is. The expat, not all seem to be the ones that try to bring the morale down. In my opinion, that's the one thing I do not like here. Yeah, I've gotten the same complaints from people. I know I always meet. There's always a few that I meet. They do not like to hang out with expats, and sometimes I understand. Sometimes I understand. Daniel, all right, good AM. All right, just be happy. Yeah, just be happy. Man, we're all so blessed. To me, the plain fact that you're here in the Philippines, because majority of us here in the Philippines, not many of us here work. So the plain fact that you're not working and you're living a good life here, you're retired basically. Most of us are retired here. We're free to do anything we want. We own our time. We're not tied down to a job. Man, that's such a blessing in itself. What else could, to me, that's like, there's nothing else. You just have to be thankful. Just be happy, like Michael S. is saying. How's Japan? I'm going to get my 50 peso haircut. Have a great day, everybody. All right, get your 50 peso haircut. I think JP, I think he goes to, he sent me a picture one time. Of his barber, Vaughn, I am blessed and fortunate, Mr. Fortune. Right on, JP. Right on, JP. All right, 50 peso haircut, man. That's all right. All right, I'm going to end the live stream here. I think I covered all my notes here regarding being patient, being extremely patient here in the Philippines, because it will be a good test. If you come to the Philippines, man, some of the processes here, some of the things will really, you will find out if you have patience. It takes a different kind of patience here sometimes in the Philippines. Falling in line and waiting, that's just a normal here. That's things that you probably never experience in the United States. Like I said, waiting 3 or 4 hours for a medical appointment, waiting 2-3 hours in a bank transaction, standing in line at the grocery for 2 hours. Those kind of things happen here. So I know, people get impatient, especially when they're just standing around. They feel like their time is slipping away, their life is slipping away. They're wasting my time here. I can't believe I'm wasting my time here. But it's one of those things where you just have to learn, because you can't avoid it here in the Philippines. You can't avoid waiting here. Japan is awesome, extremely clean, over a week, not seeing one piece of trash. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. As always, thank you, Gino, for your part. Thank you, brother from another. I appreciate you, my brother. When you're retired and have the time, some of those I think that's what it is. Especially for me, Bon. I've been retired for 15 years. There's really very rare does anything even really upsets me anymore. A lot of times I just look at things, oh, okay, that's new. That's new. If something happens, but I pretty much have I've adapted, so I pretty much anything I can predict. Even before I go to a medical appointment, even before I go to the bank, I'm already in the mindset of this is what's going to happen. This is what's going to happen. So I've adjusted already. Stay blessed, Kuya. All right, Jokano. Thank you. That's very cool, Daniel. I may have sampled doing when. All right. Take care, everyone. I appreciate everybody's time this morning. Thank you so much. Everyone, stay blessed. Stay blessed.